Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is very close to my heart, and that is the Schengen Visa application. I have applied for the visa 7 times, and the 7th time being very recent. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my recent application for Schengen Visa. If, like me, you're in the UK and require a visa to visit the rest of Europe, I suggest you stay tuned, because in 2023 some things might have changed, and if you are planning to travel, I suggest you start the application process very early. As you know, you can start 3 months before, and you know, the earlier you start the better. I mean, last year was very hard to get to secure an appointment date, so you can get an early start. It's still pretty much early in the year. Even if you haven't decided what country you are going to visit, you can still apply and not have to secure bookings for flights or accommodation. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of tips, what has worked for me. I'm going to be sharing with you, I made a few notes so that I don't forget, I don't leave out any important information. How to secure a tourist Schengen visa in 2023, and how to get an earlier appointment slot, and which visa center to apply from between the two, which is TLS Contact and VFS. And then yeah, how to get a Schengen visa without paying flights and accommodation, and then what you can do if you're struggling to secure an appointment, and as well as easy countries to actually apply and guarantee yourself to get a visa, as well as visa requirements 2023, and completing the online form. So I'm going to start with my process, well, my experience, my recent experience. I applied for a visa to Switzerland, and it was so easy, and it was so quick. I went online, I booked for an appointment. I paid £18. It was on the TLS Contact website. So I think I should just mention that so the Schengen visa is obviously for countries in the European continent, excluding obviously the UK, and you can pretty much apply for a tourist visa in the 27 well, the Schengen visa area is made up of 27 countries. So once you secure a visa in one of those countries, you can easily move around, you know, because they don't have any borders. Yeah, once you get a visa, if you get a multiple entry visa, it means that you can go to any of those countries as many times as you want, obviously for the duration of the time stipulated on your visa. And then if you've got a single entry, it means that you can go into that one country as many times as you want for that particular period. So if you're applying for a Schengen visa, you can use TLS Contact. Well, this is in London. You can use TLS Contact, or you can use VFS. So TLS Contact is for these following countries. It's for Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, and France. I have found that this TLS Contact visa center is quite efficient. Why? I recently used it. I had booked it online, and I paid £18 to get an appointment. I think they are probably charging that because some people just book appointments and then they cancel. So now they have introduced this thing where they charge you for an appointment, and then they deduct that money from your visa cost when you actually come for your appointment. So I got my slot. I chose an early morning slot because I thought, okay, it will be better to get there early and you know, have everything done, and if I encounter any problems, at least I can then still sort it out, as opposed to a later appointment where it's later during the day, they're tired, they have a lot of people to probably see, and you know, they don't really give you that undivided attention. So I got there for 8:30 appointment slot, and at exactly 9 o'clock I was done. 30 minutes I was done. What I loved about that visa center was the fact that they've got extra value added services. So for instance, they've got, if you've got things that you need to photocopy, they do provide that service. It's about 20p. And then they also, I think the photos that I had were previously used on another visa, so apparently that's not allowed, so I had to get new photos. They also have like a photo booth as well, so you know, very convenient. Overall, honestly, I definitely give them 10 out of 10. Their service was very, very good, as opposed to VFS. VFS, I've been there at an earlier slot, probably let me say 11, and as well as like in the afternoon, I think. Sorry, it was 9:30. I think I had an 9:30 slot, and then also then later on was 11. And I must say they are quite, I won't say they're disorganized, but you don't exactly get there for the appointment. They don't see you at your appointed time. So for me, it really just throws me off completely, because your day can really go either way. And yeah, so I found the TLS contact very easy. However, I need to also mention that on the VFS has some pros, in the sense that VFS, you can secure a visa appointment without paying any fees, and you don't have to fill in a form to get an appointment date. You can register online. If you don't have an account, register online. So you go to vfs.com. I will link I'll put links on the description box for both the TLS and VFS. So you go to VFS website, you will you know, select which visa you are looking for. Maybe let's say France. It will take you to a link where you register, or if you've got sign-on details, you put in your details, and then you just excuse, there's someone coming in. So you fill in the details, and then it takes you to the window where you actually book an appointment. So if there are slots available, it will give you the available slots, and then you book from there. So you don't have to pay anything. So from then you can then start obviously gathering your documents that you'll need to apply for the visa. So anyway, let me refer back to my notes. And then how to get a Schengen visa without paying flights and accommodation. So you know how they'll say that you need to have as one of the requirements, you need to have an itinerary of paid flights and accommodation. You don't really necessarily have to pay for that. You can get a flight and accommodation itinerary from a website called getitinerary.com. getitinerary.com. It's not free. It's $15 for each, but if you decide to get the itinerary for accommodation and flights, you'll pay $25. And it has worked for me. I've used it twice. It worked for me. And if you don't want to pay the itinerary for accommodation itinerary, you can use booking.com and then just use get itinerary for your flight information. The visa centers do accept those itineraries, but however, you should also read the fine print that if you go and look for those flights at the airlines website, you're not going to find them. How to get, okay, what can you do if you are struggling to secure an appointment for the country you would like to visit? So if you have applied before and you received a multiple entry visa, I think you can try this approach, which I did. So I did get a visa for Switzerland, right? But I didn't travel to Switzerland. I actually traveled to Denmark. Although my Schengen visa was obviously, the sticker showed that it was applied in the, it was provided, it was given by the Switzerland consulate. My first country to visit was not Switzerland, it was actually Denmark, right? So by virtue of you having a Schengen visa, right, a multiple entry Schengen visa, it means that you are free to roam around any country within that Schengen area. So yes, your visa is granted by another consulate, you can still go to another provided it is a multiple entry visa. That is allowed. So yeah, so if you are struggling to find an appointment in the country that you'd like to visit, you can try this option. Okay. And then yes, easy countries to actually secure a Schengen visa for in Europe. So what I noticed, you know, doing research online is that the Eastern European countries are more likely to grant you a visa, as opposed to the other countries like the Western Europe countries. So countries like Lithuania was actually top of the list. It came up in quite a lot of searches. Lithuania, Estonia, Finland, Iceland, Latvia, Poland, Slovakia, Luxembourg. Okay, Luxembourg is not really Eastern, but anyway, you get my drift. And Czech Republic as well are very, like, they're on the top 10, as well as Greece. Personal experience, I'd say Switzerland, obviously. Switzerland, I found Malta very easy, as well as Greece. I mean, there are countries that do need the tourism, guys, so they are not going to deny you and ask you 100 questions and so forth. I also found France very easy, although I had applied for France when I was still in South Africa, but we're obviously referring to when you're applying here. The total I paid for my visa was £72. I paid £18 for express courier, so that I don't need to go back to the visa center to pick up my passport. And the next thing I'm gonna share with you is the online form. The online form, or rather, let's say visa requirements for 2023. You'll be happy to know that not much has changed. The form is still pretty much the same. You know, you need to obviously show that you've got sufficient funds available, so they would obviously need your bank account statements, 3 months bank statements. They will also need your pay slips if you are working, obviously. That would be like 3 months pay slips. If obviously you are being supported by a third party, they will need, like maybe your spouse, you would need to provide the same details for that person, and also proof of the relationship. If you're married, you can provide a marriage certificate. And obviously they also need a copy of the passport, passport of the sponsor. Then your travel arrangements, I've touched on that you can do you can get an itinerary on getitinerary.com or booking.com. Travel insurance, that's very important. Travel insurance needs to obviously specify that it's you, the applicant's details on the travel insurance. And again, if you're traveling maybe for 5 days, you can just specify you can get travel insurance for that 5 days that you're traveling. You don't have to buy travel insurance for 12 months or longer. If you're traveling for a month, you can, you know, do the same. So you can get travel insurance for the duration of your travel. And then proof of status in the UK. They obviously need to see what you are doing, you know, in the UK. Are you self-employed? Copies of, proof of if you are self-employed, or if you are employed, they'll need a letter of employment with a company letterhead. You know, your position, you know. The pay slips obviously also come into factor. I have mentioned pay slips in the proof of sufficient funds. And then if you're a student, they will need your information of enrollment to an institution in the UK, obviously with your name and address showing, and the type of studies that you're doing. And if you are self-employed, you would also need maybe a self-assessment form to obviously show that you are self-employed. And then for minors, they need birth certificates. So if let's say you've got sole custody of your child, they would need your birth certificate mentioning at least one parent. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much. I hope I've covered everything. If I haven't, please you know, comment down below. I got 12 months a 12 months Schengen visa, a tourism visa, so which was a first, because This was the third time I was applying from the UK, right? And I mean, I've always gotten like 6 months, you know, so this 12 months really meant a lot. And I think I can attribute it to the fact that I showed that my travel insurance was for a year, so I bought a year's travel insurance. But I also think it's because I do have previous applications. They probably saw that, oh, this one is a global traveler, you know. I mean, it is true. So yeah, so they gave me 12 months. So I think to increase your chances, you know, of getting maybe more than 3 months, because I know when you apply for the first time they give you like 3 months. Some embassies give 6 months, you know. I mean, it depends. To increase your chances, you can also maybe write a letter to say, oh, you know, you are looking to travel, you know, multiple times in the year, to various, maybe you can be specific, say, oh, you're also going to be traveling, maybe, excuse me, you're going to be traveling, you know, later in the year. It would really be, it would mean a lot to you if they can maybe, you know, give you like maybe a 6 months visa or 12 months, or you can even say, oh, you know, you've been applying. But I think it's quite expensive to keep on applying for visas. I mean, really, you know, we're just paying unnecessary amounts, you know, just to step in on their soil. But yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that, you know, there are certain things that you need to show them that, oh, please grant me that visa for 12 months, please grant me that visa for 6 months. So it is all evident in your application. You can write them a letter. Those people are as human as you and I, so they can definitely maybe, you know, grant you that extension, because you don't want to keep on doing this process over and over and again. Anyway, that's it from me. I don't want this video to be too long, but yeah, let me know if you've got questions, and all the best. Happy applications, and again, remember what I said, please apply early, okay? Ta-da!